Because right now you go, who are your top 100 customers? Well, we know kind of the houses, what the, who comes back a lot and things like that, but you really don't know holistically who your top customer is, and because you're generating revenue from multiple places within your dealership or group from that. So it's, those kind of things are so important to build that foundation. It's like, because if you don't do that and really sit down and go, okay, here's what the data we've got. Now, how do we bring it together? But more importantly, what do we want to use it for as we go?
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Drive, Las Vegas style. In fact, it is hot here in Las Vegas. It is 100.
It was 100 and something yesterday.
100 something degrees the other day. It is toasty. But hey, I'm here with the one, the only, the oh so famous Mr. Troy Scheer. What is up, buddy?
Good morning, sir.
Good to see you.
How are you doing? It's been a minute. Yes.
Yeah, me and Troy have known each other for a while. So guys, I'm going to guarantee you right now, this is going to be a fun podcast. You're going to enjoy this. We may have some stories to share about each other. No. We won't do that. We'll do that on.
We'll keep all of that private.
Hey, Troy, I love kicking off these podcasts with a little origin story.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm just fundamentally fascinated, why and how people get into this automotive industry. No one just wakes up one day and goes, yeah, I'm going to go commit a lifelong career there. So let's do that. For everybody out there watching, listening, Troy, how did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
So it wasn't a lifelong career. For 20 years, I had my own marketing firm and did actually we had a couple auto clients. I guess the one that we did the most was with actually Lamborghini in Dallas and Houston. Uh-huh. That was a lot of, as we talked about before, PR back in the day when PR was a different thing, and working with events, getting them sponsorships and all that kind of thing. So that was really my only foray into the automotive space until about 2017 when.
Had you a little taste, a little morsel?
Yeah, just a little, and enjoyed it. Great people. That was I've always kind of seen that. But we had a client that was in the auto space and did some work for him, and he was so impressed. Not pat myself on the back or anything, but so impressed that he's like, I want you to come and work for me, be the CMO here. And I was like, okay, well, so that's kind of how it all just stumbled into that. And that was around, like I said, late 2016, early 2017, somewhere in that area. Worked for him for quite a while, and then jumped on with NIADA as their head of marketing. So that's where I had been until now, where it's an interesting thing. Where I am now is actually with a guy that I've known for 20 years. And, it was kind of the same thing where they've, moved into the auto space, kind of it was an organic thing. It just kind of moved that way.
Dude,
so
once you're in it, you're in it, Yeah. And I think anybody out there watching, listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, once this business gets into your blood, good luck getting it out, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's fun. It's challenging. Like, it's just a good old time, to be honest with you.
And like I said, I mean, the people that I've met, it was like, I had a little break in between NIADA and here. And it was like, yeah, I was missing it. So it's like, it was funny being gone for just that little bit. It was only about 7-8 months. But in that time, it was like, I see all this stuff going on. I'm like, oh man, I didn't get to visit with them and catch with them and do it.
It's just a really, really exciting time to be in the auto industry. And I think even more so, and this is where we're going to kind of get into our topic today, is being into the data side of the business. I've been screaming this at the top of my lungs for well over a decade, right? Like, it is, data driven, audience first. Like, we can't, and that's just me from the marketing side, but even more so in the operations side, it's like, look, I think a dealership's both marketing and operations is only as effective as how good of the data that we're looking at as, like, let's just face it. If you're out there watching, listening, we need to moneyball this shit.
You want to know? And I was watching that movie last night. I'm just sitting here. I was sitting in the hotel watching that and thinking, wow, how appropriate is this?
So let's get into it. So let's tell me a little bit about the company. What are you guys looking at from data? How you guys are approaching it? Give me kind of the rundown.
Okay. So Brain Trust Partners, I'm the VP of Automobility there. Our CEO is Tim Hayden. And that, again, is he and I have known each other for forever.
Oh, he's a staple in the business.
And where we're really looking, we want to help dealers in the automotive industry and in general be future ready. And what does future ready mean? Well, obviously we've heard people talking AI. AI is the buzz now, right? Well, people tend to forget that you can't utilize AI well if you don't have solid data.
That's true.
And as we know, in the auto space especially, I mean, it's everywhere, but the data sources are so disparate. You've got marketing data, sales, service drive data, you like operations, like you talked about, all these things,
all these silos. We have all these silos. Yep.
And the software that's out there, it's like you can just run down the list of all the various SaaS services that are out there
and what data they're collecting. Everything from whatever my credit widget on my website to my trade-in widget to my booking appointments on the service widget. I mean, we have a lot of widgets, but
it's widgets and software, and it's like everything's out there, but it's not going into a single place that can be utilized. And that's what we're really looking at and helping dealers understand, that you've got to have that data lake, and what we call a CDP, customer data platform. And depending upon the size too, if a larger group that may have several hundred rooftops, there are other things that you can move into, but there are a number of CDP groups that we're out there working with. And that's the thing, is we're not the CDP. That's not what we're trying to be. What we are
you're trying to collect the data from all those silos so that
and working with that CDP group so we can power it. And then once you have that, to be able to help the dealerships take that data and strategically utilize it, not just for marketing.
And real quick, Troy, for everyone out there watching who maybe, we in our industry, we love our 3-letter acronyms and our 4-letter words.
Yes.
But for those who don't know what a CDP, give me the rundown real quick.
So customer data platform, and that's basically like I said, a single data lake where data from all of the various systems within your operation comes into and then can be utilized. It's constantly updated. It's cleansed so that you don't have, if you go into a dealer, there's Jay Harris did this on his Facebook page, but it was Jason middle initial Harris when he came to the dealership, or Jason H. So you've got all these varying entities out there that you as a dealership may see as 5 or 6 different opportunities when really it's one.
Yes.
So it's being able to pull all of that. So you
just really building a profile.
Just from that area alone, you think about the money you can save from wasted marketing.
Oh, huge.
Because it's why send out to 5 or 6 different people? And it's funny, I see this just from a customer perspective. Dealerships and things that I've dealt with in the past, it's like, why am I getting 3 different things that are asking me that one may not even know? It may be a group and doesn't even know I'm a customer of one of their other.
Yes. Well, and there's just a lot of inefficiencies, and I think that's probably just one of. In fact, actually, let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit for a few minutes, right? Because I think people are hearing the word CDP. It's a little bit of a buzzword. There are people out there claiming they have a CDP, and maybe they have a portion of the journey, but maybe not the complete journey. We were talking about this last night over a few drinks. We're excited to see who will be the first company that comes out that has a complete customer data profile on the entire journey, from the point someone says hello to the point that 300,000 mile car explodes, right? And everything in between there, but let's talk about why CDPs are important to dealers. And you pointed out one great one, right? That's obviously ad waste. I remember the days, when I was a dealer and, I ran my private sale, and I would come back with and I'm serious, a stack this thick of return mail, knowing that each one of those little pieces in there probably cost me $3. Right. I'd probably be sitting here $2,000 worth of return mail, and it just, because that was the data I had. I had no other option.
You would have been just as good to take that money out and go party or go.
I probably could. I probably lit a fire on it, and the smoke probably would have attracted more attention than the. But anyways, so that's one great use case. Give me a couple others so that people out there can understand the importance of it.
I think from a sales perspective, it once you start gathering that data, it helps create and this is the key. And I was actually just out last week at CX Auto out in Los Angeles, and we were talking about it's customer experience, CX, customer experience. Yes. What that is what drives people to develop a relationship with a brand, is that experience. It was interesting. One of the speakers out there was talking about, we talk about processes and all these kind of things. Is that, when have you ever seen a customer come up and go, I really love your processes? Those are things that you got to utilize all of this information for, to help drive and create that customer experience.
100%.
And it can be used from the salesperson's perspective. It's like, the more you know about a customer, and not to the point where it's creepy, but where you could actually start developing a relationship with that customer and really knowing who they are, what they're about. I mean, that right there.
It's the most important. Look, hands down, it is the best operational strategy and marketing strategy out there. I mean, I've been asked for years, like, what is the best marketing strategy my dealership can be running? And I'm like, it is the strategy where your customer feels known, because that feels good. All right. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but I enjoyed watching Cheers, the TV show, and it's like, I want to go to the place where everybody knows my name.
Well, I mean, just you look at it, something as simple as last night, you walk in the hotel room and it's like, hey, welcome, Troy.
Yeah. Oh, on the TV screen. Yeah. Little things like that.
Silly little stuff. You go, that makes me, and if you make people feel good, they're going to spend money with you. It's really such a, simple process from a conceptual standpoint, but that's why you have to have that data and information, because now there are so many people. When you start looking at the amount of data records and customer records and all the things that a dealership has, a human being cannot gather all of that and make sense of it. That's why it's so important. That's when you get into the CDP element and the AI of being able to, really understand and gather that data and make sense of it.
100%. And the way, and now, funny thing is, it's one thing to collect the data. It's another thing to then analyze the data. And then it's another thing. The third thing is to put that data into action.
Absolutely.
All right. And I think that's where, we're still there's some people, some actions. Oh, okay, I'll send an email here, I'll send a flyer there, or I'll send out a text message. We still have a lot of space and opportunity to grow that portion of it. And that's why that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so excited to be in the automotive industry right now, because we're just seeing the tip of that iceberg, and there's so much more down there to be seen.
We're in the iPod phase.
Yeah, I like that first one. I remember when I got that first one.
You're like, okay,
that wheel was really cool. It vibrated when you moved around.
Things are moving so fast, right? I mean, it's I talk to people about, think about what happened in the 1920s and 30s, how things were changing and what it did, and how industries kind of went away because they weren't in the process of, and they weren't willing to move forward with where things are going. I mean, industry is going to continue to move, and right now we're moving at 10x that in terms of how things are changing. So, but you talk about the whole part of acting on that data. And that's one of the things that we do, because of the fact we do have a marketing background. We've got guys with business ops backgrounds. So it's not just about coming in and selling a marketing service and going, hey, well, we're going to generate more leads for you.
I think leads we're going to generate more experiences for you. And that's where I think we were kind of going with this, is we were identifying a couple different use cases. Like I said, one, great, add waste. Two, just the customer feeling known, both in marketing and communications, because the more we know about them, the better we can communicate with them. And you started off from the very beginning, you really kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, what is the purpose? What's the point? And that is the experience. That is the holy grail. That is what customers are paying for. All right. We are in a generation that are experience collective junkies. All right. And they're looking for an experience, and price. I'm not saying price doesn't play a factor, still plays a factor, but
all things being equal,
I choose the experience over the price sometimes,
And I think part of that experience, in a lot of things that I hear, and I've dealt with it in the past, is how long and how much time you have to spend in a dealership.
Yes.
It's like, right at this point in life, we all know our time is valuable, and in that time we are much more likely to put dollars towards saving.
100%.
Here's a perfect.
It's one thing we never get back, right? We never have enough and never get more of.
A perfect example, and it's interesting that this all kind of happened recently, but one of our first clients at Brain Trust was Brian Benstock with Paragon Honda.
That was surprising.
Obviously he's one that's like, I'm going forward, and if y'all want to catch up, great, but
sure.
I'm driving forward.
Yeah.
Well, the program that it's a concierge program that allowed him basically to drive much more business from his service base, working with, obviously he it became where he was open 24/7, had the Uber drivers and the Lyft drivers and all those guys coming in throughout the night, getting their oil changes and doing the things that they needed to do, but also develop again this concierge service that we worked with, to the point where, hey, if you were your car is connected to you come home, hey, I've got my check engine lights on. Hey Google, my check engine lights on. Now it's set automatically to reach out to Paragon to see, okay, when can we come? When do you not need your vehicle? We will come get it. We will take care of it. We will make the repair, and we will get it back to you when you need it.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden you've completely removed friction from me as a customer of going, crap, and I got to go find time to get in there and do. It's like Paragon comes at night at 6-7 o'clock. It's back 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got my car there. I didn't have to go sit anywhere. It's great to have that place where you can sit and do your work and have coffee, but why not do it while I'm sleeping?
Of course. And what does that all equate to? That equates to an amazing
experience. But you know what else it equates to? From 2017 when this started, I was just watching him on a video on LinkedIn. Yeah. $53 million in revenue. There you go. So,
because that's what we're paying for. We're paying for this experience, this connectivity. So that's what I'm saying. Like, look, I do want to go a little more into the execution portion of it, but at this point in the podcast, guys, if you're watching and listening right now, I really need to take note on this. All right, because this is the future of both marketing and operations. All right, it is going to be a data-driven solution as far as when to communicate, what to communicate, frequency of communication, and and also just the simplicity of being able to communicate going both ways, back and forth. All right, so let's go a little more into the execution, because I think
here's another execution point is think about if you have adjacent businesses, if you're a dealership group with insurance company, or you maybe have car washes, or maybe you're into real estate.
Sure, I mean, maybe even I have multiple franchises, like,
all of those things, but it's like now you're grabbing data that you may never have had as a customer. You got a car wash coming in, now you're grabbing VIN data, license plate, all these kind of things that you can now start going, okay, how do we connect with that customer to help drive them in a better experience? I mean, it becomes, again, so connected. If you're an insurance company, how do you utilize that data to, again, provide a better experience for that customer?
And when you get to that point, you're able to start introducing things like AI and automated decision-making solutions. I mean, look, we're in Las Vegas right now. We're literally driving by a car that is driving on its own. Right now, there's nobody in the driver's seat. All right, it is a self-drive. That is an AI that is collecting data. All right, from looks like 16 cameras it's got marked all around it. All right, and it's collecting all the data and it's making decisions in real time. And and that's the future opportunity,
real time,
right?
Again, because it goes back to the experience. What can you do in real time to make sure you're taking care of me the way I need to be? But it's not, again, just from a marketing perspective. What can you do operationally to cut costs?
Sure.
What are the things that you can do driving back to experience? How can you help your sales team or people on your staff do less of the mundane busy work?
Mm-hmm.
Once you've got your data,
more efficiency. Okay, let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's go down that rabbit hole, because I am an operations guy, so I love efficiencies. Give me some of that. So let's talk about a little bit about the efficiency opportunities.
Well, like I said, I think it's just a matter of being able to cut time of somebody that's, again, utilizing some mundane and just very busy work kind of thing. If you can eliminate that and allow it to be automated, now again, you have the people at your dealership allowed to focus on the customer.
Yes.
It all drives back to that customer experience. So that, again, as I said, people don't care about you I don't care what your operations processes are. I don't care what's going on. That's not my concern. My concern is when I come and I want to connect with you, whether it's to buy a new car, whether it's to service my car, whether, whatever it is within the realm of body shop, whatever the case may be. Yeah. It's, what are you doing for me? I don't care about, so if you can move those things and take away time that's wasted for people that, removing them from providing a good experience, think about the ROI there.
Yes, and so yeah, I definitely want to kind of go down. So look, any time that we can make a process more efficient, all right, we're going to see savings. We're going to see a return on the investment that we put into making something more efficient, right? And guys, let me kind of play out some examples that I've seen recently from kind of like creating an efficiency perspective. Let's talk about real quick about CRM, because to me, I think the CRM is one of the most largest time suck and most inefficient models out there. And let me explain to you why I think it's an inefficient model, is because it fundamentally hasn't changed in the 30, 40 years the CRM has existed, is that it is a activity-based solution, not a productivity-based solution. And let me explain that. I want to go down this rabbit hole with you, man. Sure. Activities are day 1, I do this, day 2, I do this, day 3, I do this, day 6, I do a somersault, day 4, I do a backflip, and it's like, it's all this activity-based stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean those activities are creating productivity, right? Because the data that it has, well, there's really no data that it's utilizing to determine these activities. It is just a mapped out day 4, 5, 6, 12, 20, 127, day 63, whatever BS, right? And, to your point, like we start collecting all data points in from multiple places, we can get away from that activity perspective and see that, oh, hold on, whoa, right? They already are filling out finance stuff online. Let me skip 3 to 7 and go straight to 8.
Well, and you think about too, from a CRM perspective, most of that is always, it's manual input.
Yes.
And it's like that CRM, okay, great. It's got some data in it, but it's not pulling all the, again, from service, from F&I, what's going on in the big picture. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why the CDP is so important, because it talks 2 ways. So when something is updated in one area, one system, it automatically updates in that singular golden record. Sure. So now you're not having to go, okay, well, I've got new data, but I got to go input it 4 different places to make sure it's even there. And even with that, it's not talking together to help you develop the solutions. And like you said, from a CRM perspective, it's like, let me know what's going on right now, that as a salesperson, hey, how great would it be to come in the morning and go, okay, here are 4 people you really need to talk to, because they are at a point where they are in that buying mode. Yes. And that's one of the things they talked about at CX Auto is, let's not focus on leads, let's focus on opportunities.
Yes. Let's focus on conversations.
Where are those true opportunities? And you think about a lot of those opportunities are with existing customers.
Of course.
And you think about the close ratio. I was talking with Peter Smith the other day, and the data he has, like, an existing customer, you have an 80 to 90% close ratio, where when you start talking at that top of funnel new lead, you're excited if you get 8 to 15% close.
Oh, yeah.
So why invest a lot of time? And again, so now we're talking about efficiencies. Well, if I'm wasting time on people that, right now, I hate to say it, but aren't ready for that one-to-one conversation, let's let that. And again, that's where AI can go, okay, this is where they are in their journey, and do the things that they need to see to make sure that because that customer journey, you don't know. I mean, and again, there are now certain things out there where we can track that and go, okay, where are they? And how are they coming back and forth? And you see that it's not linear by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And it may be from the time that somebody first looks and decides, hey, I'm really thinking I need a new vehicle. It may be 90 days before they actually get to that point of, okay, I'm going to think about it. It's not like you're, at the checkout counter and go, I need a candy bar.
Exactly.
It's a completely different thing, and there's going to be time spent. So it's like, the more that you can understand that and understand, like you said, where they are in the process, if they've already started filling out applications in the F&I process and all that already, you're like, okay, this is somebody I can spend my time on and make sure too now that they don't have to start over when they get there.
And that, again, all comes down to that experience. And that's really what we're, so like, look, I think if you're out to watch, like, no one's got this complete model yet, but the first step to creating that model is getting your data
together.
Right? Like, that's the very first step.
Because if you don't have that, just think about it from the FTC standpoint with the safeguards rule.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on there that if you don't have that data together and the customer comes to you and says, hey, based upon the rules in this state, I can tell you to wipe my information clean. Well, if you've got it out 4 or 5 different places and they're like, oops, I missed 2. And now you start sending marketing messages back out to them. You do that to a few folks, now you got a class action lawsuit and all kinds of money being wasted. I mean,
Well,
you're
you're 100% right, Tom Klein. Yeah,
Tom
I know.
Klein.
Yeah, Tom's the only guy in our industry that can make compliancy look sexy. Shout out, Tom. I know he's gonna watch it, so I know he's gonna. But no, you're right. I mean, there are additional reasons why a dealership needs to invest into a CDP. And really, what I'm saying when I say that is you need to actually invest in the first step, and that is really, let's call it data collection, data cleansing. And removing all these silos, which is what you guys are the pros at.
And getting all of that together, helping a dealership, helping a client, because we don't just do this in the auto space, it's within banking and healthcare as well, because there are a lot of the same issues and problems, regulations and all that across those verticals that we can come in and help you go, okay, here is the best, because we're agnostic when it comes to who are the partners, who is the, as long as they're good, that they deliver on what they say they deliver on, and that when we come in, because it's our reputation in coming in, I almost look, I equate it to, we're like the conductor of the orchestra, and we're going to put the best players in place to make sure that that piece of music that was written, that we, is, perfect to the nth degree.
Yes.
And that's where then we can come in and help, as you talked about a while ago too, not just getting the data together, but then because we come from the operations, marketing, all of that, and business owners, we can look at it from a strategic standpoint too, and help the client, help the dealership go, okay, here's how we now act on this. So it's not like we're just coming in, because let's face it, and I'm not going to name any names, but a lot of the software, it's like, here you go, good luck.
Well, and that is where I do get a little frustrated, and I am getting, it's kind of like how every vendor will utilize the word AI, and really, are they even using AI? Are they using machine learning? Which is fine. Actually, there's nothing wrong with machine learning. Actually,
but again, you may have AI and machine learning, but if it's learning off of crap data,
it's crap data. It's crap data. And so like, I mean, I can understand why dealers are kind of frustrated with, it's like, is this something I got to go buy? Who do I go buy with? Because there's a lot of vendors out there that are still kind of, they don't understand it because they think that there's already this complete turnkey solution. And what we're telling you, there's not this complete turnkey solution yet. There are some people out there that are doing phenomenal jobs creating a CDP from the marketing view perspective, meaning collecting all of the data from there. Then there's some that are really doing a good job of focusing kind of on the online and what interactions are happening with a website and stuff like that. Then you got other companies that are focusing on that in dealership interaction and the data points and stages that we need to collect there. And then so there's then now fixed ops and service goes all way beyond even there. Like it, and I think what we're saying is that look here at the end of the day, everyone out there watching and listening to this, you guys will be using a CDP in the next 5 to 10 years.
5 to, I would say
5 years. Okay.
I would say less than that even. With what we're seeing and the changes, I'd say 24 months.
Okay, let's say in the next 24 months, you're going to be using either some portion of the CDP or something like that. But the first step, and I think that's where everyone kind of gets confused, is that you can't just run into. I couldn't run into that McLaren shop the other day that's in the win and say, I'll take that one. They won't let me. Right? I tried. They had an orange one. But no, there is that first step.
Well, and with that data too, it's like, wouldn't you love to be able to pull all that together and know who your top 100 customers are?
Well, yeah, because now you're taking all these silos, now you're putting them all together.
Right. Because right now you go, who are your top 100 customers? Well, we know kind of the houses, what they, who comes back a lot and things like that, but you really don't know holistically who your top customer is, and because you're generating revenue from multiple places within your dealership or group from that. So it's, those kind of things are so important to build that foundation. It's like, because if you don't do that and really sit down and go, okay, here's what the data we've got now, how do we bring it together, but more importantly, what do we want to use it for as we go?
But hey, before I let you go, for everybody out there watching and listening right now who would love to connect with you and learn more about what you guys are working on and some of the advancements that you guys have had up to this point, what's the best way to connect with you?
Well, I would say LinkedIn or just via email. Look at our LinkedIn. Tim and I, again, have really come together on this to start building that. So Tim's is tim@braintrust.partners is his email. Mine is troy@braintrust.partners. And conversely, website is braintrust.partners. But one of the things that we really want to do, and speaking to the audience here, is we want to help educate. That is probably one of the most important things we feel that we can do for the industry, is really help educate. We'll once people understand what to do, we know that we'll get business and people will come and work with us.
Yes.
But I'm probably the worst from if you want to go the overall salesperson. I'm just trying to educate, because I believe if you do that and you're helping people, they understand, and then becomes, again, they say, okay, well, they're helping me learn more, they're helping me save time, all these things.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.